Two-time Hall of Fame inductees, Brent Godarzi and Marty Young. Back-to-back #1 trucking firm in the nation. Back-to-back best attorney and best law firm in East Texas.
Welcome, folks, to the Gilmer Buckeyes Coaching Show. I'm Todd Robinson, your host, with the head coach and athletic director of the now playoff-bound Gilmer Buckeyes, Mr. Alan Metzel. It's trophy time, Coach. 2/3 of this chapter in this year are now gone, and we're to the exciting part where it's very truly every single week you win or you move on to basketball season. You've been incredibly successful at this time of year. What's your thoughts now in terms of how long it took and what you had to go through to get here? And now that we're here, deja vu all over again with the Center Rough Riders coming up on Friday. And I don't know, I feel better about things that I have in a long time, but maybe that's just me.
Well, I thought this year, I look back on this season, I think the first 5 games were grueling, because the people we played were so good. And, we were dealing with so many injuries, and it was a grind to push through that segment of the season. But we needed that. And, I think district it's been so fast.
Yeah, it just blinked. That's right.
Yeah, it's just crazy how quick that went. And so here we are. And I think that we are a greatly improved team. I think we are a much closer team than we were after week 5 and then maybe after even week 8, and I think that I feel good where we are going in, and I think the key is you keep progressing. You can't level off. If you level off, then there's a loss coming soon, and what week it is, I don't know. But we've got to keep gaining ground each week, which we have been and did last week. It's not easy to play some of those kind of games and feel like you gained ground, but I think we did.
Yeah, speaking of last Thursday night, obviously we go all the way up to Paris and play Paris North Lamar. Those guys, let's face it, were just ready to get their season over with. We were just talking about probably a world record in terms of how fast the second half went by. But up to that second half, I just sensed not only did our kids go up there and really play well and take care of business, but there was no let-off. What I mean by that is there was no mental lag from start to finish, which just is a sign of maturity and saying that a team is ready for this moment. And, 0 to 10 in terms of the weeks, boy, did you put them through, their paces in terms of getting them here. But it's not, as the old good golfers used to say, it's not how you drive, it's how you arrive. Last year was a testament to that when we were sitting right here in this exact same spot with far, far different feelings going into by district week. Can you kind of compare and contrast that a little bit?
I think last year there was a lot more uncertainty. Of what are we, how good are we? We had the same grueling preseason, and yet we had so far to improve to be competitive. And so, we had the huge loss to PG. They were drastically better than us at that point in the year, and we were making up ground. But at this point, you didn't know how much ground you'd made up.
Right.
And so. And that was critical that we continued to progress, like I'm talking about now. And we were able to obviously continue all the way for the next 6 weeks. So this year, I feel like I have a better feel of where we are, and I don't think that we had as much ground to make up. However, we are not where we need to be, in 2 weeks or 4 weeks or 6 weeks. We still have growth that has to take place. And, you mentioned the maturity stuff from the other night. Those are some of the things that you have to set as markers to when you're playing a game where you feel like you're going to get ahead pretty quick or so forth. So how are you going to gauge, did we get better tonight? And so, how was the intensity when you're on the field? How is the intensity when you're on the sideline? How is the selfless meter throughout the game when, you're probably getting in a lot more people? We had 19 different people had the ball the other night. I think that might be a record for Gilmer. And we historically have spread it around.
Right.
But 19 different people touched the ball. That's more than some teams do in a season.
Now, I do remember from a comparative standpoint against Bullard in 2009, 14 guys touched the ball during that game, and 6 guys scored touchdowns.
Right.
And I thought that was a high water mark. I did get that feeling on Friday night. And it wasn't like anything was off script or that you were trying to create those opportunities. It was just a natural, hey, these guys are going to be integral part of our playoff run coming forward.
Right.
And when those guys touched the ball, everybody just did what they are supposed to do.
You're doing your job and preparing for your opportunities that will come in the future. That's exactly right.
I even with a crazy game like we're just about to jump into the highlights, I wouldn't call anything junk time.
No, I agree. It was worth doing. It was worth doing. It wasn't, we were wasting time or whatever. No, everyone had the opportunity to get better. And I think for the most part, we took that opportunity and made something out of it.
Yeah, worth doing, and we did it well. So with that, let's jump into the highlights.
Okay. So our first one here, this is our first drive of the game. We get down to the red zone, bogged down just a little bit, got to a 4th down, and went with a pass from Brady McCowan to Caden Tennyson. So I've got Caden out here on the right side, got him circled for you. The camera's not real high in this.
Neither were the bleachers.
Yeah, exactly.
Trust me. Coach Payton and I were on the very top row. Exactly. And we could have a conversation, you and I.
No doubt. So here's Caden. Watch the double move he makes here. So he's going to, and we ran the move where he's going to go inside multiple times. And so here's the double move where he's going to go in. It's like a post corner, breaks back out, really does a great job. And then an excellent catch. Right. You're throwing outside to make sure that the DB can't cut under it. Hand catch, touchdown, and so now you've got 7 on your first drive.
Yeah, and Caden, we just started calling him Glue because he is kind of the thing that holds it all together.
He is.
Obviously, his talent and ability from the time that he was a freshman, and then, his contributions last year, which were, invaluable and now legendary. Something tells me he's not finished writing the rest of that story, which is great to see.
It is.
As he's obviously so talented on all sides of the ball, too.
Right. Yeah, he's really doing well and having a great year. Very proud of him and the way he's going about his business and leading, one of the captains, etc. So here we drive down again, get inside the 10 again. They're playing man outside on our receivers. And so we run a route, basically a smash route. So you've got your outside receiver who's going to run a slant, your inside receiver is going to run a corner route, and then the quarterback's going to read the corner, their defensive back. And so the corner plays our outside guy, which is Jeremiah, man-to-man. We throw the ball over his head, really well placed because you threw him up and high.
Unbelievable
dropped
throw.
It on him.
I wish that we would have had drone footage of that because that, I think, was one of the top 3 balls that Mr. McCown has thrown all year.
That was pretty.
That's
rhythm.
That's next level throw.
Yeah, that was on time and a perfect spot. Great job by B. Webb making his route and hauling it in. So now you're up 14-0. So you're creating that momentum. Here's an opportunity. I could have picked a whole lot of different plays, but this is our D line getting some real pressure on the quarterback. So here's B. Pate, Braden Pate. He's going to come on a blitz, and then there's Trey Lee. Trey's getting penetration through the D line. Between the two of them, they just really harass the guy, and he ends up throwing it away. They were a little generous in saying it wasn't grounding or whatever, but great job of creating pressure. You've heard before that it's not always about a sack, it's quarterback pressures, and that's what they were able to do there.
Yeah, and I noticed that we were, let's just call it experimental on the defensive side in terms of bringing linebackers and showing some things on film that we hadn't, and in a contest.
Safety blitz.
I've noticed. And I'm sure a lot of the OCs that are going to be scouting us in the future noticed that as well. Which is maybe the idea behind that.
Well, you're just trying to put people in a position to make plays. And, the further you get into a season, there's things that you're going to do later that you need to start doing in games. And so, absolutely, yeah, that's just all part of it.
Little foreshadowing there.
There you go. So here's a play by Jeremiah Noble. Jeremiah does a great job of running a comeback route, and Brady in rhythm throws it to the leverage, and then G does a great job of showing his maneuverability and getting out in space and making guys have a hard time catching. And I went ahead and put this. The next one, he scores on the next play, but I thought that was a
setup.
That was a big play, and ends up scoring on a screen from 9 yards out, which was good. We needed to get him in the end zone. That was good. We moved from there to Trill Butler with a pick 6. Excellent job. He's in man coverage out here on the outside receiver. They're running a screen, bringing the guy down the line. Trill's right in his hip pocket, gives him a shove right at the right time. The ball pops up in the air, and, it's over. You get the ball to him in space, and great job there. He's really an asset for us, running back and at corner both.
Yeah, well, obviously with the depth that we have at those positions, and his contributions also last year in the same spots, and Trill is that's probably, my guess, is his natural position at the next level, which he'll get a chance to play, just because of his speed and athleticism.
Absolutely.
But to see him in man just gives me like a warm kind of blanket feeling. I'm okay with him playing man against anybody we run up against.
He can run stride for stride with pretty much anybody he's going to play, no doubt. So here's got Zayd Taylor back at running back, and we get in a bunch set over here on the left to help. Our receivers are such good blockers on the edge. There's Zayd. I've got him circled. We're going to give him the ball, and you really can just watch his ability to cut. You see him set up his blocks. Watch this cut. Look at that.
That's stupid.
I mean, that just that snap. If I did that, something would break in my leg or ankle or something. But super job of finding the end zone. He's one of those guys that he has that feel to get to the end zone, and has football speed. And so great to use him, and we got to use him at quarterback in the second half, which was really a benefit for us too. Here we go, move back to the defensive side, and we're going to see Taj Manson, who just has had a super year this year. I mean, he has come through. It's awesome to watch when seniors just blossom.
That's right.
And that's what he's done. Of course, he's such a high character person. He's very intelligent. He communicates great in the secondary, and he's won the we call them the big bones, because the bone rattling hits 2 weeks in a row. The last, not this week, but the 2 weeks prior, he's been the guy who's won it. But you see him here, and this is one of the safety blitzes, fits right in the hole and hits the guy right in the backfield. And when you get your safeties making tackles for losses, that's a good thing.
You're doing good.
Yeah.
And Taj is, to your point, I see his confidence coming.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, here you see him here from the opposite side. Watch him just time it up, and there's the whole bam, right in on it. Great fit. Just becomes an extra linebacker in that mix.
Yeah, and so athletic. Jeez,
yes.
The gene pool is deep.
That's for sure. That is for sure. Okay, this is Jeremiah again, another touchdown catch for him. So we just run the basic fade here. We've got him one-on-one outside. Excellent throw by Brady, dropping it right over the corner's head in the back of the end zone. We have landmarks for that throw that they practice, and so a play like that, you're going to hit at a certain yard line in the end zone, 1 yard in from the side, and I mean we were right on.
Just like you
mark.
draw it up.
Yeah.
I mean, and that was Brady. 5 touchdowns in the first half, was really kind of putting on a clinic anyway. But he just seemed so comfortable.
He really
delivering this ball and being unbelievably precise. But more impressively, every single receiver that touched it to a man, they went right to where they were supposed to be, and there's the ball, and it was like, this is just what we do.
Right. We were talking earlier about 19 guys touching the ball. Here's another thing that I think is a first. We had 0 turnovers in district. In our whole district play, we never turned the ball over. Well, we'll go into the next phase.
So district is done.
Yeah, it's over.
Let's go set a new record.
There you go. Make it 0 turnovers in postseason. But that's a pretty phenomenal stat.
It is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Actually. actually,
I don't think
at
in
the high school
33
level,
years, I don't think I've ever been a part of that.
I'm not sure that really has ever been done.
That's crazy.
Well, something for Joe Dodd to go back and
There
check
you
for
go.
sure.
There you go.
But I just realized that when you said that, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, and I go through the data banks and I'm like, yes, that's exactly right.
That's pretty
incredible.
impressive.
That's incredible.
That's impressive, yeah. Okay, so here we are back on defense. We've got Alex Guillen. I think Alex secured the Big Bones Award on this play.
If he didn't, I don't remember that.
They were in there voting on it a minute ago, but I mean, he smoked this guy. Let me show it. Here we go. I'll show it from the end zone. Watch him get around the tackle, and then, I mean, this is one of those where you're going, oh, I hope the guy gets back up. You know, it just stuck him right there. Really physical, nicely done, and he's played well all year.
Yes.
He really has. Here we are close to the end of the game, and of course it was going pretty quickly at this point, the clock like we mentioned. But we're going to get the ball on Amari Morton. Amari starts at corner for us and is just faithful as all get out over there. He backs up Brendan Webb on the offense, so Brendan gets a lot of the plays on offense. Well, we throw him the ball, and you get to see some of his speed as he takes off. He's got a good shot to be on our relays this year. He's been an alternate the past couple of years in track, but super job, 47-yard catch and run, sets up another touchdown. So it was fun to get the ball on him and let him get out and run.
And you can see that on any other circumstance from a district, any other team, you'd be getting that guy the ball 25 times a game.
Yeah, he's very talented.
I mean, he has just got that burst about him that is just so fun to see.
Right.
And having worn number 10, I can just tell you that it's been a long time since you've seen number 10 move that fast on the field for the Buckeyes.
There you go.
Well, it was a great night. I think mission accomplished says it all. We had texted back and forth, hey, let's get up there, let's get this game played, let's stay healthy, let's come home. But I didn't even really anticipate that it would go exactly like you wanted it to go, and it seemed so easy. I mean, it just seemed like the guys went up there on a mission, and it seemed like they were getting ready to get ready.
I agree. That's a good way of saying it. You know, they understood that was another part of the process of being ready for Phase 3. And they're excited about, when I bring up, okay, 6:40, we're in the weight room Monday morning, they're ready for that. It's not, we got to do this. No, it's we're excited to do that because we know what Monday's going to entail and how that's going to be part of the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of being ready for center. And so when the team starts feeling that way and there's an excitement from within, that's when you know, okay, we're heading in the right direction. The trajectory is looking up, and we're where we want to be today.
Yeah.
Today.
Well, there were two teams that always struck me as, once we got to this part in the season, of really kind of having that we win Friday on Monday morning mentality.
Correct.
Right, and that was the 2009 team and the 2014 team, and both of those teams did okay.
Yeah, they did.
But just in terms of the maturity, and I don't know if it's just the senior leadership or the fact that so many of the guys on this year's squad are still so close to the success from last year.
Right.
There isn't a whole lot in my mind of okay, now this year's seniors kind of have to go prove something.
Right.
It's just that, okay, it's time.
Well, and it's like you say, there's such a connection by so many of them to last year. It's when we're talking about these things, it's not you're having to believe that by faith. Well, I think that if we do this, that'll work. They know it.
Right.
They know it. Now you still got to do it, but they do know it because they've done it. And so there's a different air about them because of that. And we've got to continue to get that pushed down into those that aren't as closely connected to where it's the whole group. And that's still building the team. So we're still working through that.
Well, so let's talk about Friday night a little bit. Coach Meeks down there in center talked a lot. I remember, what he had said last year coming into the Gilmer game. And really so complimentary of, what Coach Traylor built here and what Coach his willingness with his dad and willing to
Yeah.
know what that looks like, right? He knows
Dickie
what,
Meeks.
and Coach Meeks is really trying to get that community to almost grow into Gilmer, right? We talk about legacy and what our motto is, and I know that he knows kind of what he's up against, so to speak, but he's doing everything that he can down there to say, look, we got a chance. We don't have to go tackle number one that we can't catch,
Right.
last year.
Right.
So I don't anticipate anybody looking forward to Saturday, so to speak, not on this side and certainly not on that side. It's trophy time, but I expect an absolute clash.
I do too.
They're very talented.
They are.
They come from that district that has got, Athens and of course Carthage. So we already are going to get, the two toughest districts
Right.
maybe in East Texas that are going to let's just see where you guys are at, where we are versus where we're at. Who has the most talent? They've got Carthage and Athens and Center, and we've got Van and PG and Gilmer, and so
Spring Hill and Bullard were the fourth on each side. Yes.
and we're all playing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all these. This is the week that the matchup
this
happens.
district and theirs, yeah.
And then we don't get back together, so to speak, until later on down the line. But I don't anticipate or feel like either team is kind of looking ahead.
No. I agree completely, and rightly so. Center, they're very athletic. All you got to do is pull up any of their games. Most all of them are on streaming, and you can look at them against Athens. Their wide receiver number 3 also plays safety. He's so electric, very talented. Can score at any time in the game. He has that kind of speed and big playability. The quarterback, he can throw it a mile. He's very elusive. They've got several running backs that are talented. They're huge. I mean, huge. Their right guard's 430. I'm not exaggerating. He is huge. So they got some big guys. They're a very formidable opponent. They were last year. They are this year. And so yeah, we're not. And we understand this is like playing a third round game, round one.
Right.
It is.
Right.
Talent wise.
And to your point of we've got 5 straight weeks to start the season to basically look and pick and choose and say, okay, you've seen this,
Yes.
you've seen this, you've
Yes,
seen
this level.
And I look at Center and say they're kind of a compilation, to your point, with the athleticism, with the size, obviously, with the brand of football that they play, that you've got something to draw on to point these guys back to in the first 5 weeks and kind of say, no, buckle up, boys, because
that's the level.
It's trophy time.
That's right. And it's, the teams that don't take this week serious in their preparation will be done. They'll be done Friday night, and we don't want to be that group. We want to be the group that's going, yep, we took care of business and we're moving forward.
Well, reason 2, Class 4A Division 2, obviously the toughest region in the state.
No doubt.
And for good reason, we're going to have to be prepared to win and go 1-0 before we even think about next week.
Correct.
So we need everybody out. We're going to be in Tatum, Texas. We're going to be at Tatum Eagle Stadium. We'll be the visitors, correct?
Correct, 7 p.m.
Well, that holds true because last year we ran the entire table as the visitors. So the Buckeyes not unfamiliar with that role.
Right.
But we're going to kind of meet them halfway between Center and here and just south of Longview. It should be a very intimate setting on the visitor side, but we need the Army to show up. It is just on the other side of Longview. Yeah. It's nice weather. We don't have any cold yet. Hey, grab your sweatshirts and come on out. As Jeff and I say all the time, we realized that last week, not a lot of people realized we were playing on Thursday because of the weather. But we hope nobody, inside of the state of Texas that Buckeye fans are listening to us broadcast. We'll save that for the, couple hundred people that are out of state and really can't be here and overseas, and your brother.
There you go.
But at the end of the day, this is time for this team. We need to come out and support the Buckeyes. We need the Army to be there. Trust me, Center's going to show up.
They will.
This is a big game for them, and it's a big game for us.
Yes.
So 7 o'clock kickoff, correct? Friday night at Tatum Eagle Stadium. Hey, leave early. Stop in Longview and grab you a bite to eat, and then come on down to Tatum and watch the Buckeyes during trophy time against the Center Rough Riders. I bet you it will be an entertaining game.
No doubt.
So for myself, Todd Robinson, the head coach and athletic director of the Gilmer Buckeyes, Mr. Alan Metzel, we will see you Friday night during trophy time by district competition. against the Center Rough Riders. We'll see you there. Go Buckeyes.